I get asked all the time, how do I know when it is appropriate for my student to be tested for special education? How will I know? What do I need to know about it? And similar to a video I did before, really it's when it's impacting them, when the struggles that they're going through is impacting them and they're struggling. And remember, special education is defined as if a student, so a student has to display one of our 13 disabilities. That could be autism, ADHD, which is other health impairment, specific learning disabilities, speech and language impairment, intellectual disability. It could be 13 different areas that we have, but we have to see that they, one, have have a disability, but two, it's very important. The second piece to this prong that a lot of people forget is that they think, oh, well, my kid has autism, so they automatically qualify for special ed. No, they don't. So the key piece to this is it impacting them in their educational performance? Is their educational performance being impacted by the presence of autism, by the presence of ADHD, by the presence of a learning disability? You have to be able to determine, is it being impacted? So if it isn't being impacted and the student has autism or ADHD and they're doing great, no problem. They don't need special ed. But if they are being impacted, they might need to be tested to determine if they need extra support. So one of the things to remember is that special ed, you're not, just because you have one of those things does not mean you qualify automatically. You have to go through the testing process. So you have to go through that process to determine. And the other thing that you also have to remember is that educational impact is very broad. It is this massive, massive, broad spectrum of behaviors, so or of things that it looks at. So, for instance, a lot of people say, "Well, my students' grades are fine, so they must be okay." Well, it's not just grades. It's not just how well they perform on our tests. It's not just those things. It could be attendance. Your child fights you to go to school every day. It could be grades. It could be that they struggle academically. It could be social and emotional. It could be that they are struggling to make and maintain friendships. It could be that they do not know how to interact with friends, or even make friends. It could be that they have such heightened anxiety that they struggle with all tasks. So remember, if they say their grades are fine, they don't qualify or they won't qualify, that's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. Educational impact, as defined by the federal government, is a much broader term. It encompasses all kinds of things. And so if you feel like your child's educational impact is being impacted, like they're struggling in certain areas, and it may not be grades, which is what we typically think, but if they're struggling, then that's the time that you have your child tested, or you request testing, or you meet with the team and have a student study team or a MTSS, and you sit down and you go, okay, here's my concerns. What can we do? And that's when you guys basically brainstorm together and you try to figure out what can be done for your student to make them successful. So when do you pull the trigger on requesting testing or doing that? When their education is being impacted. All right. Thanks.